Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy CV with another reaction video. And yes, I didn't think that this shirt was going to come out for any type of recording. And this is going to be, yes, it's going to be the third reaction video on a UK plug. The first one was cool because I didn't know anything about this plug. And I thought it's just done right. And somebody said, hey, you got to listen to this guy, Tom. And he explains some other things that the other guy didn't explain, and this and that. Now, someone said, hey, CV, I think you should look at this one, why Tom was wrong. It says, why Tom Scott is wrong about the UK plug. Bro, I know. I just think it's funny. Hopefully the person saw the previous two videos and said, hey, I think you should watch this, and hopefully adds something. So, but I still think the UK plug is actually pretty good compared to what I have here in America. But that's just me. All right, let's get into it, man. Let's get it to 100 likes if we can. Appreciate you guys. Let's do it. Oh, brother. I can't believe I'm doing 3 videos on a plug. And by the way, dude, you don't use the dark scene on your webpage? Like, it's too bright. Jesus Christ. All right.
Because I really do believe that the British plug is one of the greatest designs that has ever hit the world.
What a load of Boris Johnson.
He did say hit the world.
On the 7th of July 2014, Tom Scott uploaded a video to YouTube claiming that the UK plug was the best in the world. And he's not the only one. A quick search of YouTube has...
No, I actually thought he said the best thing in the world, not plug.
14. Tom Scott uploaded...
Listen.
What a load of Boris Johnson.
I can't comment on that.
Okay. On the 7th of July 2014...
Because I really do believe that the British plug is one of the greatest designs that has ever hit the world.
What a load of Boris...
Hopefully he's saying design as far as plugs go, not design as in like
Johnson.
Everything.
I can't comment on that.
Okay. On the 7th of July 2014, Tom Scott uploaded a video to YouTube claiming that the UK plug was the best in the world. And he's not the only one. A quick search of YouTube has all sorts of people across the world on the UK plug train. But instead of offering an objective comparison, he just went on this huge rant about how good his country's plug is. So I began researching Tom's claims, and what I found was shocking. Get it? Yeah, you get it. And armed with some seriously boring technical standards, I was able to uncover some unnecessary and even some non-compliant reasons as to why this plug does not deserve the crown. So, with patriotism aside... Sorry.
Come on, bro.
I'm going to finally compare the Pom's plug with one of the greatest nations on earth.
What? I thought UK and Australia use the same plug. Okay, we about to uncover something here. Okay. Wait a second.
I'm no expert. Oh, wait. Yes, I am. So listen up, because I'm going to break this down into 5 different categories, all of which were mentioned in Tom's video. Then I'm going to give each country a score out of 10 based on my custom scale. So put up a Tony Blair and grab yourself a pig's ear.
Hopefully they're all the same type of plug, though. The type, was it type G? So
because it's time for an old-fashioned plug off. That didn't sound right.
Round 1.
What I have to do is plug the earth pin, which you can see is slightly longer, the ground pin here, in first. And when that goes in, little shutters come up and let the other pins in.
You cheeky Poms. That is inventive and safe. But just one thing. Why the hell are the holes the same size as a baby's finger to begin with? I mean, what type of Spartan type regime was big?
Is it really that, bro? I don't know, man. It doesn't look like a baby can really put this. And but listen, if a baby is old enough to even walk and go up to a plug, them little chubby fingers already like, you know, look like a little pickle or a hot dog. Like, come on, man. There's no way a little baby's finger could fit in there. Unless you're an ant or something. Like, come on.
George running back in the 40s.
There's
now,
no way.
compare that with the Australian plug, and it's half the size.
Okay. It's smaller, but...
Try sticking your finger in that, kids. Actually, don't try that. Now, I actually can't.
Okay. Bro, it is. Hold on a second. I have a Vernius, and I want to see. The UK is 4.05. Hold on, let me turn it on. Batteries are Gucci. Reset that. 4.5. Okay, I got it at 4.5. Bro, that's 4.5. Ain't no baby's finger fitting in there. I don't have a baby, so I can't measure it, but maybe I can measure the other. I'm joking. But no, there's no way a baby finger is going through that, dude. There's no way. At 4.5, and I can show you, I have it at 4.5 mm. There's no way. And now the UK is 4.3, wait, 390. Right, smaller. There's no way, man. There's no way, bro. I don't know about that one. You're reaching for that one. But let's continue.
Try sticking your finger in that, kids. Actually, don't try that. Now,
Yeah, don't do that.
I actually can't find any evidence as to why the plug pins need to be this big. And some might say it's because it needs to carry up to 13 amps as opposed to the 10 amps from Australia. But if that were the case, wouldn't Australia have bigger pins for the 15 amp plug top? Maybe it's because of the fuse that's inside of the Oh wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. So it seems to me that the UK had to engineer themselves out of a hole that they really didn't need to dig in the first place? I don't know. Maybe they're overcompensating for something. We've all been there. Righto, over to the scoreboard for round one, and I'm giving the Poms a 4 for overcomplicated engineering. I'm giving the Poms a...
But how? I don't understand. I literally don't see the... I mean, there is a difference in the numbers, but a baby putting his finger in there, and I don't know why they had to make it thicker. I'm sure there's a reason, but you couldn't find it either, so I don't know.
4. For overcomplicated engineering. And I give the Aussies a 7 for simplicity. What?
Huh?
You disagree? Chuck it in the comments.
Round 2.
I'm just...
Because on the live and neutral pins on the
I don't
bottom,
see a huge difference,
the
man.
insulation extends halfway through them. If the plug is far enough in to make a connection, like that, all you can touch is the insulation.
Now that is a brilliant idea. So good, in fact, we have it too, and a lot of other countries around the world. But what does the overpriced...
America don't have it. There's no insulation on the plugs at all. Not on the tip.
standard say? Well,
or the
as I
metal
suspected, the Brits had to add just a little bit of extra length. Told you they were overcompensating for something. So in comparison, the length of the insulation is pretty trivial, but compensating for something. So in
I just don't. I think you're like, I don't know. I think you're so reaching. To me, it's not. There's like you're making the same joke, but I just don't see where this affects how it works. So I don't know.
In comparison, the length of the insulation is pretty trivial, but what isn't trivial is the length of time it took for Australia to implement this change. You see, the UK introduced this change in 1984, and fast forward 21 years and a couple of electric shocks later, and Australia finally comes to the party. So for this one, I give the Poms an 8 and the Aussies a 5.
Round 3.
I don't know, man.
First, there's a fuse. And that's an artifact of when the standard was made. Post-World War II, there was a copper shortage. And, well, it was a lot cheaper to require a fuse in every plug and just build the circuit as one loop of cable going around the whole house than it was to have loads of individual copper strands going out all over the house and a fuse for each. So they just made the house one giant circuit, put a fuse in each plug. That's now safer.
What the? Hey Dazza, yeah, Davo, how are you, mate? Hey mate, are we going through a copper shortage? Can I still get some 2.5? Now, are you on drugs? Well, yeah, kinda. Look, whilst copper still might have its issues, there is plenty to go around. I get it. You've got this rich electrical history and the fuse holds some sort of sentimental value, but is it really safer? Righto, grab yourself another beer because we're going deep into British electrical history.
I got my beer. Okay, I don't know, man. So far, this guy's reaching on the 2. I just don't see a big difference, really. The number says there is a difference of the thickness and the height of the insulation, but I just don't see where it makes a difference in the real world. But I like it, though. This was like a Drake versus Kendrick beef. Electrical beef. I like it, though.
In 1994...
Ah, crap. I knew beers were a bad idea. Let me just change the channel. Here we
Yes.
are. 1944.
Hey,
A
Seinfeld.
set of technical standards were published by the British Ministry of Works. They were called the Post-War Studies. Now, this was in response to the housing crisis post-World War II. The studies were an opportunity to standardise building practices across the board. And one of those studies was number 11, electrical installations. Now, I wasn't actually able to find this particular document, but I did find volume 106 of the Electrical Times, printed in October 1994, and which features direct extracts from the original study. Oh, and it has this interesting article on ladder conditioning. Anyway, the study recommended the adoption of a single ring circuit for a small house, protected by a 30 amp fuse. The idea being that you could divide the current evenly across the circuit. And this was estimated to save up to 25% of wiring costs from pre-war methods. And this is the money shot. This was to be complemented by a single standardized plug, accompanied by a 3 or 13 amp fuse. And with resounding support from the electrical community, the 13 amp plug and ring circuit was introduced. But was it? Resounding, I mean. Well, in the very same volume of the Electrical Times, an article written by Meg Ohm, these engineers. Meg Ohm expressed his disgust with the recommended change to a ring circuit and suggested an equally effective result would be relaxing the existing rules around maximum socket outlets. I mean, you got to remember that in the early 20th century,
I'm not really understanding
appliances
everything.
didn't just grow on trees. So wiring a separate circuit and matching the load for each one kind of made sense. Nowadays, we use maximum demand-based calculations. Each one kind of made sense.
Okay, so it just had, the circuit had different amp built in. Is that what that's saying? 5 amp 2 pin. Okay. And then yeah, I think that's what
Nowadays,
it's saying.
We use maximum demand-based calculations for our circuit design, but the principle is still the same. Ensure that you protect the cable from exceeding its maximum allowable current carrying capacity.
Okay.
That's it. You're now an electrician. Cheers. And look, this is not a new concept. It was even written into the original wiring standards in 1882. So to make Ohm's point, a ring circuit with a 30 amp fuse can be wired with a cable of a current carrying capacity of half that. And you know what's crazy to me? You can still do it. Not anywhere else, just the UK, just so we're straight. And this, my legendary friend, is why the UK needs a fused plug. Because if faulty, the potential for an appliance to reach beyond its cable's capacity without the circuit tripping is exponentially higher. And not to mention that the fuse actually doesn't trip at 13 amps. That's right, the British standard for domestic fuse links specifies a non-fusing current of 1.6 times the rated capacity. That means that you can happily run 20 amps off a 13 amp plug top without anything happening. So maybe that's why they designed their plug pins like gigantic battering rams. And you know what the irony is of all of this? In the very same study, an alternative to the ring main was suggested using the very same methods that we use today. You Poms, you crack me up. But what about the Aussies? Well, much like the Poms, we did go through some serious iterations before landing on the design that you see today. But like most of the world, we adopted some more traditional ways of wiring and cable protection. So for the beloved fuse, I'm actually going to give them a 4. I mean, you can only imagine the pressures these guys were under to come up with a solution to the copper shortage. Plus, they did at least standardize the.
But so there was an issue and it was fixed. So I don't see what the big problem is by adding the fuse, or like he said, the fuse didn't really help. I mean, I see it here where it helped me in my house. I mean, but then again, I'm not an electrician. I don't know what amp, whatever, because different section of the house use different amperage. And we have 20, 25, 30, 15, but I can definitely tell you I have a heat press that I made this shirt with, and that takes 15 amp, and the amp did blow, everything shut down. I replaced it. I'm back in business. So I don't know the integral part of electricity, but I just know the amp did its job on my machine, where therefore if it didn't have an amp, which I got a machine that's broken over there, it did blow on me. That one did not have an amp on it. This one, I decided to buy that because it has an amp. To me, it's an extra protection. The amp blew, or I keep saying amp, the fuse did blow. I replaced the fuse. I'm back in business. And I made this shirt from that machine. So, I don't know. He's kind of reaching a little bit, and he's doing research, which is great. But 3 times, and you made the joke about the size, and like, who cares? And then he did say, well, I looked, couldn't find it. But I don't know too much about electricity, so.
They bucketed it up. And for the Aussies, I'll give them a 7. I mean, they don't have a fuse, but we really don't need one.
Round 4. Fight.
And this is the really clever bit. This is the bit.
So.
We really don't need Aussies. I'll give them a 7. I mean, they don't have a fuse, but we really don't need one.
So you telling me these plugs don't have a fuse in Australia? Because we don't have a fuse in ours either, but there's so much issues that happen, so.
Round 4. Fight.
And this is the really clever bit. This is the bit that not many people know about. You see that slack in the wire just here? In the event that there's a tug on this cable and something goes wrong, and all these start fraying and coming out, the live and the neutral, the ones where the danger is, they'll get pulled out first. And then the earth wire will come out next.
Righto, you legend. Hold on to your hard hat, because this one is going to get juicy. Tommy is right in saying that the plug top should be designed in a way to prevent any strain to the earth wire before the line and neutral. Here's one I prepared earlier. Look.
Wait.
Neutral. Here's one I prepared earlier.
Okay. So you made that long just to be different? I'm not understanding this part. So you obviously, it should be shorter, and I think that makes sense, but you purposely made it long to prove that you can make it long? I don't think that's what Tom was saying. I'm a little lost here.
Look, I know I'm a couple of cans down, but there was nothing stopping me wiring that neutral longer than it needed to be. Alright, maybe you think this is an extreme example, and I'm trying to trash the inherently good name of a seriously epic design. But I'm trying to trash the inherently good name of a seriously epic.
Why wouldn't you? I mean, to me, that makes sense. And just the fact that one is higher than the other one, to me, that makes sense. I don't know why you would think that doesn't make sense. I'm not trying to trash anybody because I don't know anything about electricity, but just by looking at it, I just don't get why you wouldn't want to make it shorter and to be safe.
Design. But a quick search on how to wire a UK plug and, as Tom says, this is a secret that nobody still knows about, and a non-compliant one at that. Now, I'm actually in favour of this feature, and for all my criticism, at least the UK plug top has the ability to have a longer earth, something for which the Australian plug doesn't have at all. So for both plugs, I would like to see a more
Oh, wow. So the Australian one wraps around. That's actually pretty cool too. I'm not against that at all. And it's separated from the other wires, from your live and neutral. Yeah, I'm not against that too much. It is away from everything else.
So for both plugs, I would like to see a more deliberate design and ensuring that the earth is definitely the last connection. So because the Brits gave it a red hot crack, I'm going to give them a 6. And I'm going to give the Aussies a 3 for being lazy bastards. So at the end of round 4, it looks like we've got a dead heat.
What are we talking about here? Like, okay, let's just finish it off. What's next? Orientation. Okay.
Round 5. Fight.
If you just let it fall on the ground because, you've just thrown something out the way, it will almost certainly end up with the points pointing upwards, which means in the middle of the night, when you stand on it, it is really going to hurt.
Yeah, no arguments here. The UK's plug top is solid gold crap. Although the Aussie one really isn't much better.
What are we talking about here, bro?
What the? Come on. So, at the end of round 5, I can't really choose. I mean, both of these plugs have their pros and cons.
If he made a choice on that, I was going to complain. Look, nobody wants to step on these plugs, obviously. But why would you just leave that plug just unattended? There's no need to unplug it, right? Like, I just don't get it, because especially if it has its own switch, what's the purpose of doing that? Okay, great. Let's say you did unplug it for some sort of reason because you used another appliance and then you took it out and then you forgot about it. I get it. That is painful stepping on that. But I think that's a stretch though. Like, I don't think it's happening every day. And I do understand that it happens. People say it happens. But pushing that fridge or anything against the wall with that plug sticking out, me personally, I hate having that space when I got a wall. I need it against the wall. But that's just me. That's just me. You don't want to step on it, but then I don't want my furniture sticking out like that.
Cons, and I've still missed so much. Like how both earth pins are longer for safety measures, and how the fact that the shutter mechanism doesn't work without the earth pin. So when you have a 2-pin plug for a double insulated appliance, you have to use this crappy little plastic bugger it. Mate, the UK plug is absolute rubbish. An antiquated.
I just don't see it. I think this person's like, I think you have a great plug in Australia as well. I think that's the issue here. You have a great plug, but that's not to say what the UK has is terrible. Because for me, in America, I think both plugs are good. I think they both design pretty well. I kind of like the UK plug more based on the things that I've seen and learned so far. I just think you have a good plug in Australia and you really just reaching. So I have a good comparison, which is like, it's huge. It's night and day. But for you in the UK, Australian UK, it's I think you're just reaching.
A dinosaur that was fit for a very small period of time, but should have been left in the past. And you know what's crazy to me? The UK are still designing their way out of old systems. Check out this video to see exactly what it is.
What are you guys doing over there? But what we usually do is we end up having a combined circuit. So
hey, listen, man, I'll check out his channel. I'm not hating on this guy. I think he's funny. I like him. I like his personality. And you know me, I love Aussies, man. I love my Australians. But I don't know, man. This is really reaching. This reminds me of the first video where the guy says the worst thing about the plug is stepping on it. And again, the worst thing about this plug in this video, stepping on it. It's almost, he should have just said, hey, look, in Australia, we don't step on the plugs like that. Well, at least with the prong sticking up. You win. I don't know, man. I feel like it's a little bit of a stretch. I think it's a little bit of a reach trying to just find something wrong with that UK plug. I don't see. I have a better comparison because I'm here in America, and the plug here is trash. It's caca. So I don't know, man. This is a Drake and Kendrick beef going on right now. So what do you guys think, man? Do we have the UK plug on top, or do we have the Aussie? Oh boy. Let's not start a fight. Let's be respectful. I think both plugs look pretty good. I never knew the Australian plug looked that way. I do like how it's away from each other. It's not under this one housing, really, right? It's on opposite ends. I do like that, you know? And that was my first time seeing Australian plug. But I guess the worst thing you could say about the UK plug is stepping on it. That blows my mind. That is the worst thing about your plug, UK, is stepping on it. My God. Anyways, man, if there's more cool videos like this, I guess I'm going to give this guy a follow. I want to watch more of his videos. Hopefully he doesn't block the video or, you know, hopefully he doesn't block me or anything or take the video down. I like him. I said I like him. But the long jokes, I think he's the one with the issue. I think he's the one with the issue. Anyways, just joking, bro. Anyways, if there's more cool videos like this, man, put in the comment section below. Keep your head up. Love you guys. As always, peace. I love this shirt. Whenever you see this shirt, it's about plugs. This video is about plugs.